So let's begin with, what do we actually study? Most of my friends believe that psychology major students are like Sigmund Freud. They can read others' mind, and they're doing some psychoanalysis. And my parents think that I'm wasting their money, majoring in some that couldn't find a prosperous job. And then but what we actually study is that we are doing some scientific study. By definition, psychology is the scientific study of the mind and behavior. So our study is not just doing some psychological tests. In actual fact, we study statistics and biology. And so it is really scientific. And you may ask that what qualities are needed for students majoring in psychology. I would say a comprehensive communication skills is needed, because you need to read a lot of readings. You gotta do a lot of literature review, and then you gotta be proficient in English, because sometimes you got a lot of presentations, and you gotta read a lot of readings. And also, the most important element is that you got to be passionate in the study of psychology. And I guess passion is very important. Last but not least, I would like to remind you guys that prior study in statistics and or biology is not compulsory. It would be an advantage if you have done several study before, but it is not a must.
I'm now going to talk about why we picked HKU Psychology. So because HKU Psychology is very flexible, we can double major. We do not have to necessarily major in, having both major in social sciences faculty. We can also do course faculty major. For example, for myself, I am doing a major in human resources under HKU Business School. So it is really flexible. And also regarding the curriculum, we are required to study Common Core, which is liberal studies in the DSC curriculum, that we study about the global issues and also understand the interconnectedness of the issues in our everyday lives. And also there is an item called SIGC, which will be further explained in the later session, but it briefly refers to we are required to do some exchange and also internship in order to fulfill our graduation requirement. So regarding the teaching style, I think for HKU it's kind of flexible, and all the teachers are very helpful. For example, that we have tutorials and lectures. Tutorials is conducted in a small class size, so there will be more interaction between teachers and students, and also for lectures, they are more they will include a larger class size. For example, maybe 200 people in a class, and however, the teachers still can answer students' question by using email or even some face-to-face questioning.
So I would like to elaborate more on the flexibility about major and minor options. As you can tell from this photo, in the Department of Psychology, we can have several major. HKU is the only university that offers a neurosciences major in Hong Kong, and we could also major in cognitive psychology and something like that. And one thing that you guys should note that is we can have another major in another faculty, say marketing. And this kind of flexibility would help us to find a prosperous job. We can find jobs in different sectors. For example, my friends are finding jobs, having intern in KPMG, something like that. And so this is a really unique advantage and the reason that convinced you to study in HKU. Okay, so let's talk about the SIGC. This term may sound unfamiliar to you guys as you're secondary school students. SIGC is something particularly unique in the HKU, in the Faculty of Social Sciences. It aims at, SI means that it's mainly about internship. Through this scheme, you could apply for different, students are compulsory to apply different internship. There could be lots of various internship opportunities are offered.
Regarding the internship, for example, there are different sectors that we can join, for example, because students who study psychology may be interested in working in a clinical setting in the future. So in the under SIGC internships, people usually offer the clinical and educational service, for example, working in NGOs or assisting assisting clinical psychologists. And on the other hand, some of the students may be interested in some kind of corporate communication, media, and culture. So maybe they will offer some companies that will, for example, there are some newspapers company, for example, Financial Times, and they will offer some jobs opportunity for students to work on the communication roles of the company. There are lots of options that we can choose from to, I mean, for exchanges, we can offer the university level or faculty level exchange program. And this details information can be found on the website. And briefly, that we, in general, there are lots of universities that we can pick from. You can go to UK, Europe, or Singapore, just any university that you would like to actually collaborate with Hong Kong U as well. So it is a very exciting journey.
After studying in psychology in HKU, it allows you to you can continue your study in psychology for a master degree, and HKU is providing the master degree in psychology in the field of educational psychology and clinical psychology, which allows you to be clinical psychologist or educational psychologist. Some of the graduate students from HKU who were studying psychology before, they will also be the industrial and organizational psychologists or the counseling psychologists. And for recent years, there are more students become the psychologists in the field of neurosciences, because HKU is now providing majors in neurosciences, which allows students to know more about neurosciences. And if you do not want to be a psychologist in future, you can also be in your industry like marketing or some therapists, which can also allow you to apply your knowledge in psychology, which you learned from the undergraduate degrees of psychology. And these all are others career options that you can choose after studying psychology in HKU.
So we have covered a lot that is related to the academic studies. So it's time for some non-academic activities. I guess, well, one thing that you strive hard for public exam is that you are longing for the university life. So let's talk about the university life in the HKU.
I'd like to share something about my hall life. To start with, I think hall is another place to learn, develop personal abilities, personality, and communication skills, which will benefit you across your life. Actually, different halls have different cultures. We have diverse cultural activities. To make my presentation vivid, I'd like to take RC Lee for an example. Where I once lived in RC Lee. This year, before the suspension of classes, we held whole culture night in January and enjoyed excellent performances presented by my hallmates. And despite culture activities, we also provide different sports teams to hallmates to participate in inter-hall competitions throughout the year. While striving for excellence, we also see the process as an equally essential part of our hallmates' experience. From practice to competitions, these experiences create lasting memories and friendship and instill values of respect, individual effort, and teamwork. Despite that, we also can learn from our hallmates. Hall house unique individuals that bring this hall to life. We believe University Hall serves as the platform for intellectual exchange, and every hallmate plays an essential role in facilitating that. Throughout the year, multiple hall activities allow hallmates to bond and understand one another. From the inspiring high table dinner, which you can see from the PPT, to the unforgettable floor festivals. These will be lasting memories that will accumulate into one's remarkable university experience. Um, in conclusion, I want to say that just enjoy what you do in hall. It will be a fruitful journey. Thank you.
And I would like to share some of my experience of being an executive committee of Psychology Society. I think it's kind of one of the most valuable memories in my university life because I can meet friends who achieve goals like promoting psychology from my first year of being a university student. I think it's kind of meaningful because most of the thing is really fun, and when we plan a workshop or plan to organize some activities to promote psychology, I think the experience is kind of new and is what is different from that experience that you can have in secondary school because you can meet different external parties, for example, the NGO or some of the other organizations like Treehoe Hong Kong to cooperate with them. So I think being an executive committee of Psychology Society, I mean, this kind of experience is really kind of fun and interesting.
Let me share about my internship experience in NWS Holdings Limited. But in general, I work in the sustainability department of the company, which I was in charge of holding internal sustainability campaign to promote environmental friendly messages to the internal parties. For example, that I hold a campaign called From Waste to Resources. We were using some of the waste to upcycle them and make it into useful items and to give them another meaning instead of just tossing them into the rubbish bin. For example, I used an old t-shirt to upscale it into a shopping bag. On the other hand, I also paid a visit to K11 Museums. Maybe some of you are familiar with this newly built shopping mall. It is also under our company, and we went there for an art jamming session and to experience the beauty of the nature, and also to focus on the also allows our colleagues to relax and enjoy the beautiful environment.
So my word of advice is that you guys should plan ahead, and last but not least, it's better for you guys to look after your mental health during this journey, as the preparation, it can be tough and there could be a lot of setbacks. So seize the days and make your lives extraordinary. If you guys, this is the end of our presentation.